We have a problem with our next guest. It's hard to find any of his act that we can actually show on telly. Most of it's R-rated or worse, and it's all pretty blue. Here's a taste.
A cricket legend, all Australian boy, a real bloke's bloke, and we all loved him for it. But he's got a super problem and it's affecting his game. So won't he put your wanger away?
The interesting thing is, without any mainstream airplay or media interest, he's sold more than 3 million albums in this country alone. It would seem he may know something about Australians that his many critics don't. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Kevin Bloody Wilson. You paid for this audience? Welcome. Where did your love of bawdy ballads come from?
When I was a young musician, I acquired a couple of albums of bawdy ballads and barroom songs, and songs like "And the hair's on a dicky dido, hung down to her knees," all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think most of us have heard those songs. And I ran out of them. I basically had 2 albums and I ran out of them, so that I started writing my own.
When did you realise you could make a living out of doing this?
Playing in bands in Kalgoorlie in Western Australia, we used to just mess around with other people's songs. You know, take the ribbon from your hair would become wipe the dribble from your chin, stuff like that. And playing in a town like Kalgoorlie, you had to play everything. Like Wednesday night you'd do a pub, Friday you'd do a blue light disco, Saturday you'd do a wedding. And Sunday mornings we used to do these things called pleasant Sunday mornings, which were just for the boys at the footy clubs and the cricket clubs.
Pleasant.
Very pleasant Sunday morning.
Yeah.
My job was to introduce the strippers and draw the chook raffle in those days.
So you had the classy end of the morning.
I did indeed, yeah.
So you're in Kalgoorlie and you'd started changing these songs around. Was there a moment you thought, well, hang on a minute, people are really going for this?
Yes, there was. Even when we were doing the decompositions, as I call them, other people's songs, you'd always get more response to that than you would the original version of it. So I thought, yeah, this is good fun too. It's not like it was hard work. It was always good fun decomposing other people's songs.
Let's go back one. The invention of Kevin Bloody Wilson. Where did the idea come from? It's a great name. Very smart.
Thank you. Well, I've got a brother called Kevin, an adopted brother called Kevin. And I just borrowed his name because he's the biggest yobbo I know. The Wilson is a fairly common name in Australia, and the Bloody came from the fact that I needed to let people know that it was Australian, and second, that it was of a bawdy nature, so that people didn't get confused when they came to my show as to what they were going to hear.
And 83, you brought out your first cassette.
Yes, it was.
Average Australian Yobbo. Can you take me through some of the songs that you wrote for that album? Because a lot of people here wouldn't be familiar with your work.
Stack the fridge and stoke the bong. That fucking cat's back. Oh, there was an instrumental on it because we ran out of songs. I had 11. And being a musician all my life, when you make a mistake on guitar, you usually say, oh, fuck, you know, to yourself. So I wrote an instrumental called Ah Fuck.
A bawdy instrumental?
A bawdy, yeah, first of, I guess. The whole idea was to play this piece of music, this pattern of music, but the very last note in it, you had to fuck it up. And when you did, the whole band stopped and, ah, fuck, 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, back into it again. So the fiddle player got to fuck it up, the guitar player got to fuck it up. It was really good.
I'm going to send this interview to Gordon Ramsay so I can see how you got your guitar here, and look, I think, how many people here are familiar with Kevin's work? Yeah, we've got about 60%, so 40% need an education. Why don't you give us a blast or something?
Certainly.
Bearing in mind that this is a family-friendly show.
Okay.
But it's the Manson family, so
the Manson family, okay. This is a new one. Tonight, I'm sitting watching old home videos, sorting what to keep and what to throw away. Since you left them with me. Now I think I've solved the mystery of how it all turned to shit. In fact, I even know the day. That's why I play our old wedding video backwards and dream of how things could have turned out like. Starts when you give back the ring, walk backwards up the aisle again, slide your ass back into that limousine and fuck coffee out of my life.
Thank you. On the basis of that romantic song, it seems like an appropriate moment to say hello to your wife, Betty. Hello, Betty, welcome. This man, when you first met him, who was he? What was he like?
Well, he was Brian Dennis when I met him. I thought he was cute.
Yeah?
When I first saw him. He was in Kalgoorlie, and I'm from Kalgoorlie, but I had moved to Perth. But I used to go back there quite a lot to visit relations and my brother. We used to go to the races a lot. And the Foundry Hotel was the place to go.
Yeah.
And him and his band used to play there on about 3 or 4 nights a week.
Was he doing the decompositions then?
Just a little bit, you know, the same thing, singing straight songs and dropping in that odd word. So I'd be sitting there and you'd just look around and wait for the reaction every time he dropped a word in. Everyone would go, oh, did you hear what he said? That's basically how I first heard it, and it was pretty funny. I used to get quite a lot of laughs out of him, so, yeah.
Because a lot of Kevin's music is about, you know, women are Sheilas and good sorts and they're good for a root or a head job, and that's about it.
True.
Was he a romantic?
I'm going to ruin his reputation here, I know. But, yes, he is actually. He buys me flowers and all of those things. So,
You're
yeah,
really
he's a bit
fucking
of a
up my reputation, you know.
I know. I said I have to tell the truth. It can be a lot of times, yeah, but he's still got that cheeky, irreverent side to him most of the time.
Does he try out his material on you?
Yes.
All of it?
Yes.
So when Kevin, for instance, comes in and he's just penned Nothing Funnier Than a Fart, for example.
That one, I just sort of shake my head. There's a few of them that I've said, I can't believe you're going to do that.
That's how I know I've got a hit on my hands.
They're usually the best ones. I go, oh, I can't believe you're going to do that. And he does it, and they're usually pretty big hits, so... Yeah.
Because there's plenty of people who go, this stuff is beyond the pale, this is tasteless, it's not appropriate. Why do you think it works?
Because it's appropriate to the situation. If you and I were to take our wives out to dinner and a piano player in the corner broke out into one of my songs, I'd be the first bloke to go up and chat him about it, because it's inappropriate for the environment. But if you come to my show, certainly that's where people pay good money to come and see exactly, or come and hear exactly what it is that I do.
So what is it you reckon people get out of it? Are you saying the things that they don't get to say? What is it?
I think so in a lot of cases, because I believe that political correctness is a crock of shit. It's a contradiction in terms, for a start. If it's political, there's a real good chance it's not fucking correct.
So, Betty... you know, Kevin's catalogue is pretty broad. Another one that springs to mind is My Dick Just Dialed Your Number. I know Kevin signs a lot of women's breasts, that they often ask their breasts. Why do women go for it, do you think?
I really don't have any idea on that one. It's kind of not something I'd probably do. But, yeah, they just seem to want to do it, and it's just... they say, how do you put up with that? And I just say, well, it doesn't really matter. It's only a boob, and he's going to go home with me. He's not going to go home with them, so it doesn't matter.
Is he always creating stuff? I mean, are you in the car and he'll see something and there's a thought, like I just saw... He
has a very creative mind that doesn't go to sleep very often.
I'm so interested in this because you work in a genre that very few people work in, the bawdy ballad. Where does an idea start?
Oh, it could start anywhere. There's no set time for creativity. It's sort of like if you're playing rugby, you get past the ball, so you've got to run with it. So I'm always armed with a pencil and a little piece of paper so that if an idea does turn up, whether I'm at an airport or whether I'm sitting on the dunny, which is a good inspiration place to be, given the nature of my songs.
I assume it's The Office.
To a degree. So, again, when the flow starts, you've just got to sit with it and let it work itself out. Now, there's a double entendre.
I think it might have been a single one, but anyway. What song are you working on at the moment?
At the moment, there's one that I'm working on about diesel dyke lesbians. It's called Butt Fucking Ugly.
OK, now this is where it gets interesting. This is what I'm trying to work out.